Welcome, everybody, to PinstripeChronicles podcast. I am Tats. I am here with Donald and Rob, and the Yankees could just continue to win. And the only one that really continues to lose is me, because now I have to deal with all this NFL draft stuff where I really couldn't care less about football. And what it leads me to do.
We're not in. We don't care.
So
we don't care about what your thoughts are about football.
Well,
so
if you
move on to baseball. Before I rip you about football.
You shut up.
No, you shut up. You brought up football. I'm not having anyone disparage the greatest sport with its biggest day because I don't care about football. Go on, go Yankees.
I hate you. So if you are like me and you are tired of hearing about the NFL draft over and over on every sports outlet, everywhere, just make sure you subscribe to this channel where you can get the best in baseball and distract yourself from the NFL draft talk. There you go. See, you ruined my promo, you asshole.
That's a terrible promo. So wait, your promo is if you don't like football,
no, I don't.
To PinstripeChronicles?
No,
We've got two guys that love football on this podcast. Now I have a football podcast. Thank you. I thought you were going to promote our podcast. No.
If you do like football and you want to get the best of the draft analysis, check out Donald and Rob on Nerding Out Sports. See, if you were here on time, you would have known that I was planning something. So, in all seriousness, we did have the NFL draft. It is a big sports night in the country. And I just hope that everybody did get, the picks that they were hoping for, the players that they wanted. I'm sure you guys broke it down perfectly on your show. But with the Yankees sweeping on the homestand, I think that's got to be the focal point going into the weekend to just put an exclamation point on the excitement of New York sports right now. So with the way that they've been playing, it's really, this is what we expected. This is what we were waiting for, the sweep of the Baltimore Orioles. And that had to be the worst defensive play game I've ever seen. Now, the Orioles are just, what was it, 5 errors? The Yankees don't even have 5 errors as a team on the season. And they're committing just as many errors in one game. That's a poor excuse for a baseball team. Mm-hmm. I wish we tried reaching out to an Orioles fan to have them on, but they never got back. I would really love to hear their point of view on how do they take their team seriously, because I wouldn't even turn the TV on if that was my team. What's your take on how bad that defense was? Like, how can the manager explain that?
This Orioles team might be one of the worst. Certainly the worst defensive team I've probably ever seen. It's right up there, man. It's like absolutely horrible. They're going to be one of the worst Oriole teams in decades. And I've seen some bad ones. I've seen the ones that lost like 120 games. And this Oriole team is right there, man. They got a couple of guys that can spray together a couple of hits, but the rest of their team is just garbage. And you know what? I hate to be negative, but how did the Yankees lose 2 games to this team? Like already this year? I mean, this is really bad baseball team. Really, really bad. Like they couldn't make the simplest plays. They couldn't make the simplest moves. They didn't even know which base to throw to. I mean, these are like fundamental things that you're taught in Little League, and they don't have a clue what they're doing out there. It's really bad. It's an embarrassment for baseball that this is the team that they fielded, because they've got a loyal fan base, as little as they do have of them. They've got a loyal fan base, and they've got a beautiful ballpark, but they've got an owner that obviously clearly doesn't care and is wanting to tank as much as possible, because there is no excuse for any major league team to have a team as bad as that out there.
Yeah, it kind of makes you feel bad about ever complaining about Hal and Bryant, right. At least we don't have that. Rob, your opinion?
The Orioles are terrible. This is what we should do to them every time we play them. Yeah. I mean, they helped us out with the bad defense, but they're brutal to watch. Like, and it's upsetting because if you're an Orioles fan, you know it's a rebuild, but they're fielding a team that's starting Rougned Odor like every day. I mean, we had to do that last year, so it's like, but this is bad. Like, we did to them what we should have done to them: beat them up. The ball beat them up, and so did we. So it's tough for the Orioles right now. But look, they're the runt of the litter in the AL East, so you have to beat them up, and that's what we did this weekend. So keep winning. If you're gonna be good, you got to beat the bad ones. Here come the Gardeners.
Yep.
Did you say here comes the Gardeners or here comes Brett Gardner? I hope it's not Brett Gardner.
I do have to admit
that when I saw the team we have as it is.
When I kept seeing Gardner pop up on the Twitter feed yesterday, I got really confused. Yes, especially that, obviously, everybody knows that I don't follow the sport. I was like, what happened with Gardner? I'm like, oh wait, no, it's a football player. Never mind.
Gardner's been drafted by the Jets. Brett Gardner's going to the Jets.
And I so missed the opportunity to just make a joke that Gardner ended up on a team. Brett's
got a new nickname. His name's Sauce. He's also become African American overnight.
Yeah. Reconstructive surgery. Yeah. But the offense has really been putting everybody on watch. They really are tearing the cover off the ball. Judge had a good night again. LeMahieu, they're all just really, the at-bats that they're putting together is really, it's matched expectations of what they're supposed to do. And in some cases exceeded the expectations, like with IKF, Trevino, he's not tearing it off the ball, cover off the ball, but he's putting better at bats than Higgy is. Higgy seems to kind of just faded out after spring training. And it's like, you should have saved some of that, that moxie, because he's just like a dead duck. But as long as the consistency in the lineup remains, and I was actually really pissed off that Andujar didn't get in at bat anywhere in that series.
Yeah, that was that's not a great look for Boone there, man. Because guy was batting 370.
He was tearing it up in AAA, and now you just sent him up here to cool off.
Just to stand there and look cool with the sunglasses. It's kind of a bad look. I mean, they could have just called up any. If that was the plan, just to have a body, then surely they could have just called up somebody else instead of Andujar. I just don't think that's a great look for the guy. I mean, kind of feel bad for him. He's just kind of standing there looking cool with the sunglasses.
Back up.
Yeah, I mean, if that was the plan, I thought the plan was to at least give him one game. So, listen, I have no complaints about the team that was sent out last night. Castro was great because he stole a bunch of bases and things like that. So I think they should have called up somebody, a no-name, somebody that just doesn't really matter. I hate to say, because if that was the plan, just to stand there and be a mascot, it's kind of a bad look for somebody who was a runner-up for Rookie of the Year. Don't forget, he was runner-up for Rookie of the Year. And it wasn't all that long ago. So it's kind of weird treatment. And I think Michael Kay he didn't say it, but he did kind of allude to it. I don't know if anybody picked up on that in the Yes telecast. It just kind of sounded like he alluded to it. He's like, well, Andujar's there, and he tore it up in AAA, but he's kind of just standing there. Been thought about using him, but decided not to. I think he was just kind of kindly, in a roundabout way, just kind of pointing that it's not really a good way to treat him, especially considering the Yankees tore the cover off the ball. They probably could have given him an at-bat or two at minimum over the series. Rob, what are you thinking, man?
Yeah, well, there's nobody else in the 40-man because, Vet's hurt. They're not going to call up Pereira, and obviously they're not going to call up Florial because he would have had the same exact issue this weekend. So they just had to get another hitter just in case. But I think they always knew the first 2 games they were going to go with the outfield. They did, and then LoCastro was going to play the day game after night game. I would have rather have seen Miggy DH the first game or the second game. That's what I said. Just let him play at least one. You can keep him swinging the bat at least for a night. But, it is what it is. I kind of expected it because it's only like a 3-day thing for Hicks to be out. And it's possible that since they sent Marinaccio down, maybe Andujar stays, but where is he going to play is the question. So I don't know what they're going to do, if they're going to call up another pitcher right now, because I don't think it's been 10 days for JP Sears just yet.
Right.
I don't know who else, unless they call up that dude McKay, who they got from Tampa. So I don't know what they're going to do. I think
Sears is available after the Kansas City series.
Yeah, that seems on point. So, I mean, it's possible that Andujar's here for this series, and maybe he gets a start or two against Kansas City, then gets sent back down, because the rosters are actually going to stay expanded through like the middle of May. Like you're going to be able to carry an extra pitcher. So we know the Yankees are going to keep doing that. But no, I wanted to see Miggy get at least a start. He should have been starting against Baltimore. You really had nothing to lose. I mean, you put Gonzalez out there at short. Maybe you could have. Well, they wouldn't put Glaber out there. So I don't know what they were going to do. But you could have at least found a way to DH him, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah, have the have a DH for the end of the end innings, or have him start as a DH and pinch hit if the game was tight. Yeah, so there were options that they had. I mean, they won the game, so we don't care what options they didn't.
Yeah, I mean, maybe to play devil's advocate. It's a
viewpoint. It's just we had talked about. We were hopeful that Miggy was going to be able to kind of showcase what he's been able to do down in AAA on the major league level. We didn't get it. It's upsetting, but it's all about winning games.
Maybe to play devil's advocate, Boone is thinking, listen, I want to go with the guys that I know are going to be on the roster, and I want to develop them and make sure that they are on point for when we need them. So in that respect, it actually worked, because Marvin Gonzalez looked good and LeCastro looked really good. So it's literally picking holes. I think the Yankees need to find a way of trading Andujar. So because I just don't think he serves a role for us. He doesn't fulfill any of the needs that we have. I mean, he isn't particularly speedy. He doesn't really particularly have a position. And we've got a bunch of guys that can play DH, so it doesn't really make too much sense to carry him on the roster too much longer. I was hoping that they maybe give him a bat or two just to refresh the rest of baseball that he still exists, and then maybe try and put together a trade for him. And it's not a disrespect to Andujar. I just don't think that you're going to see the best Andujar playing for the AAA Yankees. I think he needs to be playing. I think he needs to play Major League Ball somewhere as a DH somewhere, National League or something like that. But yeah, it is what it is.
Yeah, and I like the fact that Boone's been more making, he's been making sure that he's putting the defensive teams out, not just the offensive teams. You just saw the way that wind was whipping yesterday. If you have somebody that's not comfortable in a position, that wind could give you we could have had just as many errors. I know LeCastro caught a lot of crap for that one ball that popped out of the glove, but it really wasn't his fault. He was trying. It's just the wind kept taking it. Gonzalez, look at the run. He almost crashed into I forget who it was. Was it Stanton who was playing left? And just almost crashed right into him. Trying to catch that pop up. Because the wind just kept taking it, where it looked like he didn't even have to move. Next thing you know, he's 40 feet out into the field. So,
but let's talk about the small ball. I loved what the Yankees did this series. Small ball.
Yeah.
LeCastro stole a bunch of bases yesterday. Obviously that was a preset plan. Like, if I get on base, I'm stealing. He was caught out once, but he stole a couple bases, and his speed certainly was a problem for the Orioles, and their catchers didn't know how to deal with him. By the way, their catcher's terrible. And I like that, and I just like that the Yankees hit and run through the series. This is a different offense. This is a much different offense. It's a little bit more creativity going on and creating runs. That's what they did. It was just kind of like, it was similar to watching the Yankees when they were really good back in the 90s and the noughties, where for the first 5 or 6 innings, if they're not hitting massive home runs, just little inch by inch, just bit by bit, just beat that door down slowly, and then eventually you're going to get the big hits. And that's exactly what happened. We manufactured a couple runs, got there, and then Aaron Judge hit that monster home run, and then the floodlights, the floodgates opened, and then everybody started getting in on the party. That's kind of what I thought was happening. So it was a good approach. I really liked what we saw offensively through the whole series. Really impressed. Rizzo's unbelievable. We need to talk more about Rizzo. He's unbelievable. And Stanton, I think Stanton might be one of the best hitters in the American League this year. I think he might be an MVP candidate. I've said that from the start. I'm loving what he's doing. Him and Rizzo are really carrying this offense. And then Aaron Judge hasn't even gotten hot yet, but he's starting to get hot now.
He's heating up. Yeah.
Yeah, he's heating up now. He's really doing some damage. So you got him and LeMahieu batting over 300 at the top of the order. It's a good offense. And you got Falefa batting 300 at the bottom of the order. If you got somebody batting 300 at the top, somebody batting 290, 300 at the bottom, this is a good offense. That is your stable diet right there of guys that you know are going to get on base. Because the 9 hitter is basically an auxiliary leadoff hitter in many ways. You know, you're going to get good pitches to hit up in the bottom of the order. And now you've got right in the middle, you guys got Rizzo, Judge, and Stanton, who are just going to do massive damage. So it's looking good, man.
Yep. Rob?
No, it's, patience is key with this offense. You had to wait. It was too early when people were talking about how this is the same team as last year. They didn't do anything. Nothing's changed. They're going to lose games. Some idiot from Barstool saying this team's got no shot because, 10 games in, they were struggling. But now you're starting to see that when they hit, they are very tough to stop. So it's just a patience game. Right now, we went from a team that was looked at as mediocre to having the best record in the American League. It's so fast how things can change in this sport, especially in the month of April. So you just have to be patient. This offense has too many good players, and not everybody has even gotten hot yet. We're still waiting on Donaldson. He's starting to get a few more hits here and there. Gallo showed some pop this week, this series finally. IKF's come around. We don't really need anything out of the catcher position, but Torres is looking better. I mean, everybody's starting to contribute in some sort of way. And even Gonzalez and Locastro, like you mentioned earlier, Donald, but now those guys are coming through. So is it going to keep going from now until the end of the season? No, obviously they're going to hit a snag. It just happens because that's baseball. But we talked about it all the time. If you're going to play well in April, you got to do it against these kind of teams, and you got to beat them up. And that's what the offense was doing. And now we got a series with Kansas City where we need to do the same thing. Maybe not necessarily sweep them. It would be great, but you got to keep beating them up. These are the games you have to win if you're going to try to establish yourself as one of the teams to beat in the American League. Do I feel like we can sweep them? Yeah. The pitching lines up well for us. We got Nasty Nestor tonight, which unfortunately is locked onto Apple TV, but just keep hitting.
What's the blackout restrictions for?
Apple TV. If it's the only place you can watch it.
What about people out of market? Can they watch it on MLB TV? Do you know?
I don't know. You might have to check
I'll look that right now.
Because that was
I'll be listening
in the Amazon thing. But
I'll be listening to
Apple
John season. So
it might be different with Apple. I don't know, because obviously Amazon, if you're out of market. But that was really kind of unfair on the New York market.
No, it's only Apple TV, no MLB Network.
You're kidding. That's embarrassing, man. That's such an embarrassing, terrible look. Screw baseball, man. Honestly, terrible look. It's really unfair. But what are you guys' thoughts on Tyon?
Look good.
He's gonna be fine. Yeah, I'm not worried about Tyon.
He had a good start. He's had nothing but good starts this year. Even like early on, he was going a few innings, but you saw that the velocity's there with his fastball. I think better so than it was last year. He's touching 96 at times, so like that's right where around where he was with Pittsburgh, averaging at least. The spin rate's there. The curveball looks good. This is what we're getting from the bottom of the rotation, 4 and 5. We're getting just consistent 5, maybe 6 innings from these guys every time out, and they're keeping us in ball games. That's exactly what Tyone did yesterday. Then this rotation is shaping up nicely because when Cole when he gets going, you're good for 7 innings a start, maybe on a good day, maybe even more, but an average of 6, 7 innings. Severino, probably the same thing, maybe 6. Montgomery, again, he's the same thing, 6, maybe 7. And then the bottom, Tyone and Cortez might be the best 4 or 5 in the American League right now. So it's looking good. I like what I'm seeing from Tyone. It's just we could talk about all the time with the injuries. That slowed him down because he was really good in 2018 with Pittsburgh. Really good.
Really good.
No, I mean, when you
What did you think?
No, I think he pitched just what we need him to pitch as. He didn't get into the length out of it, but he was still effective. If you're going into the bullpen giving up 2 runs, we said this all the time, 3 runs or less, we'll take that from the starter. And then let the bullpen do their, work their magic, by locking it up. And the bullpen's been kind of a little shaky, but I think that's also, they're a little more relaxed because of the lead that we've had in these games, where they could, they're trying to have a little more of an aggressive state of mind, not try to nibble corners and be overly perfect. I would like them to treat it like it was just a 1-run game because we would probably secure a lot of these wins a lot easier, and not have to spit it out. When you're up the way they were yesterday and you still have, Chapman, getting loose, that's not good.
He didn't really give me too much length though, and he did get hit around a little bit. We obviously had to use the pen earlier than we originally planned. Just to be fair, do you not think that was a concern?
Yeah, he went 4 2/3, 7 hits, 2 runs, 2 earned runs, 1 walk, 4 strikeouts. So he's the number 4 guy right now in the rotation. He's pitching to a 3.86 ERA. That's not terrible. And it's not the best line in the box score. Giving up the 7 hits. But if you're giving up 7 hits and only giving up 2 runs, I'll take that ratio.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, probably.
Well, a couple of those.
Zimmerman only gave up 5 hits and 4 1/3, and he gave up 4 runs. So I think Tyone got a little lucky, and a lot of it was the fact that we got him out when we did, because I think if Boone kept him in, which he probably would have done last year, if he kept him in another inning, another batter or 2, then Baltimore probably add another 2 or 3 runs. I wasn't impressed with Tyone yesterday. I have to be honest.
It wasn't his best start, but it wasn't an embarrassing start. It wasn't bad. It just
if you look at his stats, it's actually pretty good. I believe it's 17 strikeouts and just 2 walks given up, or 3 walks, no more than that anyway. 17 Ks, 3 walks over the course of the year, just a 3.26 ERA. So that is actually solid. If you're getting that at the bottom, either 4th or 5th pitcher, then you're going to take it every day. Yeah. So I agree that I just think that he is what he is. I think he is a bottom of the rotation starter. I think he's a 4 or a 5 at this stage. Stuff wise, I prefer Clark Schmidt stuff to Tyone stuff. I think Schmidt has a little bit more movement on his secondary pitches. I'm a bit more impressed by Schmidt in a short sample size this year. I think he's got better movement, better stuff long term. I think Mike King has got better stuff coming out of the bullpen than Tyone. Tyone's stuff isn't really doing anything for me, but it's okay and it's fine enough. But it was concerning that he gave up 7 hits. So I think that there's going to be a short leash on him. I don't trust him to go to give up to
So
give us too much length this year.
here's his stats on the year to this point. 4 games, a 1-1 record, 3.26 ERA, 19.1 innings pitched, 17 strikeouts, and a 1.24 WHIP. I think on any other team this early, even this early in the season, any other team would take that from a number 4 pitcher.
Oh yeah.
So he's putting the numbers up. It's just last night wasn't an ideal start for him. I think that's a fair way to put it.
A couple of the hits for Baltimore were anchored by the wind. You can't forget that. We didn't have the errors, but our defense wasn't perfect yesterday. Locastro probably should have caught that ball in center field. That takes away a hit. And then
the ball popped out of Judge's glove. That counted as a hit. So it's a very misleading line, considering the weather.
Yeah.
Guys, give a preview of your episode on Nerding Out Sports for the draft for anybody that wants to go check it out.
We streamed from like the middle of the first round till the end. It was kind of spur of the moment because we were really excited with the Giants picks, so we just wanted to get our reactions out there. And the Scotsman on the bottom of your screen there decided to douse himself with water, so just be on the lookout for that. And we just broke down the picks and talked about what was happening in the first round. And it was a fun time. See, some people on this channel like football, and we got excited about it. We don't hate the sport, so it was a fun time. And if you like football, come watch Nerding Out Sports. Thanks for that amazing promo. No, we had a good time. We were just talking football and talking the draft, because it's a fun time of the year. We love it.
Donald, I know you got on me in the beginning of the show, kind of took the momentum of my rant a little bit, but no, it's I know I'm in a very, very minority of Americans that don't watch football on a regular basis. I'll watch the games if I'm with friends. I just don't get into it. But I know a lot of 99% of everybody else is. So
I
do hope
that was myself in water. I was so excited. This placed America and this expat over here. Yeah. Stayed up till 7 o'clock in the morning, Art, over in Europe time. Doused myself in water. It'll be so much easier in the summer when I'm back in East Coast Standard Time. At least I won't have to stay up till 7 o'clock in the morning doing these podcasts.
But hey, that's what we do. We talk sports morning, day, night, in our sleep.
That's it. 24/7.
Yeah, definitely check out
PinstripeChronicles. That's for sure. And Nerding Out Sports.
Yep. Yeah, check out Nerding Out Sports and their breakdown on it. We'll put the channel link in the description below. Like, share, comment, and subscribe. Check us out on sportnan.com/player, on Northeast Streaming Sports on Roku. Wear your pinstripes with pride and play hard.
Nice.